Thank you so much. Hello, everybody. It's wonderful to see you. I am going to be sharing my screen. I want to say a big thank you to Futurepreneur for having me back. As you mentioned, it is our second, which is really exciting, our second webinar. And here we go. I'm just hoping that everybody's going to be able to see here. So as we get ready, I am going to also give you an understanding of today. We're going to be moving into some really interesting concepts like mindset. We're going to be getting into actual tools, but I'm just trying to share my screen and I'm just hoping that you're going to be able to see this. Can everybody see a screen? Oh, that's good, because we don't need to start on a stressful note here trying to get technology to work for us. So I want to just acknowledge how we're going to be going through this today. I like to have I know we're on a webinar format, but I really do want to have some ability to have conversation with you and being able to interact. So I'm going to put in the actual chat what we're going to be using today, which is menti.com. Now, if everybody can see here, I feel like something is going on here technically. If you go into menti.com, so you can just open a new tab on your computer and just type in menti.com, and then it's going to ask you to just type in the code 51913698. Now, you can alternatively just put your phone up to the screen and use the barcode, and it will take you there. But you will have to put in the actual passcode. So if everybody wants to get themselves ready, I see somebody got in there, and I know you got in there because you hit that like button. So let's give everybody just a moment, and I can't copy and paste it in the chat for some odd reason. I don't know what's going on, but just look up at the screen, go menti.com in another browser. You can follow along just from there, and then just enter that code, 51913698. I see that there's a bunch of people coming in. I'm going to give it just a little bit more time. If you are having any issues, can you please let me know in the chat? If you can't get in, if you're like, Melissa, you're already over my head here. Let's just make sure that everybody's in there. So here we go. We've got 12 people in Menti. And also the code, Anna, on the screen, 51913698. Thank you so much for putting that in, somebody in the actual Q&As, because apparently I can't do that today. So we're in here. This is where we're going to interact here today, and we are going to actually put it to the test. Why don't we go to the next screen where you'll see a set of questions. I'm going to ask you, are you using AI tools for your startup or small business today, or maybe even in your job? So I want to get a sense of who's in here and what are you using. So here we can start to see, okay, we've got 4 people. I've tested some AI tools, don't use them regularly. Oh, I've got some more people, not yet, but I'm curious to learn. So thank you for being here. We've got 2 that are like using it consistently to help you run your business. Fantastic. I look forward to opening it up in the conversations at the end. So is there anybody that hasn't explored AI yet? No? Okay. There is actually technically 2 questions that say not yet. Okay, fantastic. We've got a diverse audience, and I love that, because it really doesn't matter where you are today. What I'm going to be trying to do is move the dial forward. And what's really important with this is that as we go through, we're going to be, again, learning different things with regards to where we're at as Canadians within this whole world of AI. And what I want to share is that 8 in 10 Canadian SMB leaders are actually stepping up automation and AI adoption to really improve their efficiencies and boost their productivity, because finally we're starting to get a lot of research and data based on how businesses are using them. And so I think it's really interesting that we are showing an increase in confidence with some surveys, but I want to also say that in others, we're actually seeing something a little bit less, where we go and we're saying, this is a different study by the Peninsula Group, and some are hesitant to fully embrace AI. And it means that they're saying 65% of Canadians haven't yet implemented AI into their work operations. So we have different studies. There is different kind of variables around here. And so what I want to say is a mixed landscape. So wherever you're at, it's absolutely perfect that you're here today, and we're going to be exploring some of these topics. Now, I want to, again, just go back into Menti. If you see me look to the left, it's not because I'm not trying to look at the screen. I actually do have, I have another screen for Menti, When you think about using AI, so you can go into Menti and answer this, in your business or in your role, what is the biggest challenge that comes to mind for you? So just take a moment just to think about when you think about AI in your business or your role, what is that biggest challenge that comes to mind? Anybody want to share? Well, we will start to see things pop up on the screen. Take a moment just to think about it. Okay, so we've got price. Absolutely. That could be a potential issue. Privacy and health information. Absolutely. Certain limitations. Yes, and hopefully we'll be able to unpack some of these things in Q&A as well. Time to explore complexity in implementation, 100%. Not sure what the advantages will be. Absolutely. Hopefully you'll see some of them here today. It moves much faster than I keep up. I 100% agree. And it's not for the faint of heart. And I think everything nowadays is everything's moving quickly, but I'm going to try to help you from a mindset perspective today, rein some of that in, because a lot of time we give all our power away. We've got accuracy, how to integrate AI into business, using it effectively. I want to thank everyone for being able to share what you were thinking here. It's really important. I see in the chat as well, authenticity. But one of the things that is really interesting is that there's actually a kind of a common link between all these things. And many of the concerns we're going to address today, and I'm going to take you on what the common link is. But if you were not here from our previous webinar, which I do want to highlight it, it's, again, AI is not this magic tool. A lot of people go, wow, that's what it seems like. In some cases, it's a tool that absolutely helps you in your business. It can be a thought partner that helps run our businesses better. But knowing where AI can really help you is the real key. And I guess it's a pun, because I see that there's a key on the screen. But I want you to really think about your biggest pain points that you're experiencing in your business, where you spend too much time, what are the repetitive tasks that drain your time, your energy. And that's a really good place to start when we're talking about AI implementation. And you also, if you attended the last webinar, you also are going to know that AI is not just one thing, because there are actually different types. Now, let me move to the screen here, where there's different types of AI. I'm not going to unpack it here today, other than the fact is we are using an AI called generative AI. And this is AI that will, again, create and save you time. And what it can do is it can generate writing, it can create automation, it can generate images, it can generate music. So we are dealing with generative AI in this session. And it is important for you to know, because as you evolve in this journey, you want to be able to know what kind of AI you are actually using. So we'll focus on this today. Now, for people that don't know me, I know that Zineb gave me a lovely introduction. I do want to share that I'm an East Coaster at heart here on Nova Scotia. My journey has definitely taken me across Canada and beyond. I was in BC for quite some time, and then I headed overseas to London. That's what you're seeing on the map. And why I kind of want to share this is that I had this incredible opportunity to work with global clients, eventually launching my own business and really spending nearly a decade in the UK. If you're wondering, like, oh, I see some universal music companies up there. If this dates me, it's okay. My first album that I worked on was Backstreet Boys. So that's a little fun fact. Now, the first chance I could get, I headed back to Canada. It's obviously my home. It's what I love. And when I came back here, I thought, okay, I'm going to launch another business. And this time it actually focused on stress management through creative mindfulness and emotional intelligence. So I was working with, again, another set of incredible clients once again, did great work. And there was always something that was always niggling at me, where I was like, when I had these businesses, I thought there must be an easier way to do all of this. So I really do understand, if you're showing up as an entrepreneur in business, I understand the struggles of entrepreneurship. And so in 2022, I was introduced to generative AI. And as a creator, I immediately saw the opportunity. And I couldn't help but think, if I had these tools during my previous businesses, how much easier life would have been. And so I dove in and I started to get in thick and deep. And that's when Agility Hub came to the market, where I thought, I'm going to test this and I'm going to put every type of AI tool in Agility Hub and see what I can do at the pace the technology is moving as well. And it was amazing how much time I was able to save. So I want to say that it's a true privilege to be here from one business owner to another, or if you're in an actual company and you're just trying to figure how do you save time and how do you make things work, it's lovely to have you here today. So we are going to be covering the importance of an AI mindset. It has an incredible implication or possibility if a lot of time we don't even pay attention to our mindsets. And so I want to talk about why it's successful, like why a mindset or an AI mindset specifically is important for that successful integration when you're bringing new technology in. And we're going to look at common fears. Again, we all have them and they all come at different times because, again, it doesn't matter how far along you are or if you're just starting, we have stop points and we have things along the way that will create barriers. Now, also, I wanted to get into tools that you can use right away because, again, I'm all about action. It's okay. Show me what I can use, Melissa, and okay, fantastic. We'll be able to have a takeaway at the end as well. So you can definitely accelerate your business growth with some of these tools that I'm showing you today. And of course, the Q&A. I think it's important that we open it up. I see you. We are doing a new format today, a webinar format. I love the interactivity. We'll just jot your questions down if you have any, or put it into the chat. So hopefully it sounds good. Is everybody good? Are we all good to go for it? Let me know in the chat. What I'm finding as well is that when we are in this space, and you might notice this on social media if you're on social media, but there's two sides of the fence. Like it's, oh, we don't need AI. Traditional methods work just fine. And then there's on the other side, AI shouldn't automate, AI should automate everything, including customer interactions. And then they give you like 5,000 prompts if you're aware of prompts. Personally, of course, I'd love AI to fold my laundry and possibly do the dishes. But the reality is somewhere this answer lies in the middle. And I think a lot of time we forget that. We see the two sides, even in media, when they're saying things and we've got fear-based mentality, but that wherever it nets out in the next few years, is the answer is going to be somewhere in the middle. So hopefully you find that there's a little bit of comfort in that. Now, when we're looking at the path of where kind of things have been, for decades, businesses really they follow predictable patterns in terms of we're used to like, okay, you do this and then you can get more followers, or you do Y, follow this. And again, there are best practices. We've had loads of time to test things, to refine things, to repeat things. So when we're in business or in our roles, we have some principles to guide us on. Now, AI is it's changing the game completely. And the core business principles still apply. Things like knowing your audience, refining your offer, building relationships, but how we're executing is shifting fast. And AI is a tool, but it's even more than that. When I say this, sometimes it doesn't really resonate until you start really using the tools, but it really is a new way of thinking, working, and also competing. So businesses are not just automating, but they're starting to really reimagine workflows, decision-making, and innovation, which is really very interesting. And so if you're like, Melissa, this feels overwhelming, you're not alone. And guess what? I get overwhelmed and I'm in this industry all the time. So what I want to say though is top companies are trying to figure it out. Everybody's on the same, in the same space. We're all trying to work towards something. Nobody's fully mastered it because it's always evolving and changing. So again, you're not alone. Now, what I want to highlight as well is that, again, this whole AI gap will hang on a second, why now? The reality is, it's not if AI will change business. It's how are you going to use it to your advantage? Because we already know it's here to stay. Everybody tells us this. So businesses adopting AI now are really pulling ahead, not because they have all the answers, because guess what? Just like this person doing up their shoe, they're taking action. And I have seen it firsthand that AI is transforming how I show up every day at work, even how I hire and how I'm growing my business. And the best part about all of this is that there's no single right way to use AI. But the key is to start, implement, and adapt so that it works for you. If I had waited for AI to make perfect sense before diving in, I'd still be sitting here today, and probably for a really long time. And that's often the hardest part for us as humans. You know what? AI isn't about knowing everything. It's about being willing to learn, to test, to improve. And maybe you haven't tried those AI tools yet because they feel unfamiliar. Maybe it's a little bit intimidating. It's absolutely okay. Maybe you've been dabbling, but you're like, geez, am I still using these effectively? Or am I getting really good value out of this? Wherever you're at, it's absolutely, again, you're not alone. So we're all about being able to take that next step. And in order to take that next step, it's often not the technology that's holding people back, but it's our mindset. And so I want to talk to you a little bit about misconceptions about AI. And if you're like, Melissa, I'm so ready, I want to just get into the tools, just be patient for just a minute, because I want to go through these things because they come up at different points in our process. And somebody that's like really like super AI adopter will still hit these mindset barriers as well. So I want to go into the first one. There's 6. Basically, the first one is AI is too complicated. I'm not tech savvy enough. Now, what you really, if I like go in underneath the surface here, you know, what you might be thinking is, I barely understand the tools I'm already using in my business. How am I supposed to figure out AI? Or maybe I don't have time to learn something that sounds as technical. But the reality is that AI tools today are built for everyone, everyday business owners. You do not need to be a coder or an expert. And a recent report found that 78% of seniors over 55 are turning to AI. So I love this because they're using it to compete everyday tasks. And they are also even combating loneliness, which is a whole other story I did for a different day. But I share this because this low code, no code AI tools, it allows you to start today without any technical background. And I'm a perfect example of this. I always consider myself non-techie. So you're not like, again, if that's what's holding you back, this is the opportunity to recognize that mindset and what you're saying. Now, another fear is AI is going to replace my job, my team, or my business. Maybe what you're really thinking is, if AI can write content, if it can answer emails, if it can automate things, why would my customers still need me? Will my industry even exist in 5 years? Now, the reality is AI is an assistant. It's not meant to be a replacement. I know we hear of things, and I will talk to you about, again, just something about replacement here shortly, but our roles are absolutely evolving. And yes, certain companies, jobs will disappear, but many new ones will emerge. And actually, McKinsey, there was a study done that it said that AI is going to possibly create 20 to 50 million new jobs globally by 2030. So again, businesses that adapt and integrate AI strategically, they're not going to fall behind, but they're going to gain this competitive edge. So I think it's really important to address that mindset. Now, what if I try AI and it doesn't work for me? Well, I've heard a lot of people say, you know what? It doesn't work for me, Melissa. And I dig below and we get into conversations about, I just don't want to waste time on another shiny object. Or I've tried AI a little and, well, the results weren't great. Maybe it's not for my business. But here's the thing. AI is not plug and play. It's an iterative process. And what I mean by iterative process is you repeat, you refine, you improve over time based on the feedback you're giving AI and it's learning. So it's not I'm just going to set it up once and forget about it, even though we all would like that because that means it would be easier for us. The most successful businesses are testing, refining, and optimizing their AI strategy. That is, and especially over time. And the more that you experiment, the more valuable AI can become for you. So what's challenging with this one, though, is we're in like a time where we've got super short attention spans. In fact, I'm hoping everybody's looking at me right now because I know our minds could go over here. We want to do over this, over here. We are really at a time, and ChatGPT and all these language models are not helping us because we've put in our question and it spits out an answer. But it's really important that we need to be able to slow down and think critically as well. And so really paying attention to, what if I try AI and it doesn't work for me? Really get into what does that mean for you? Why are you feeling that way, and trying to work through that further as well. Now, we've got a couple more, and then we're going to dive into these tools because I know that's the exciting part here. I don't want to lose control. So a lot of people are feeling like if AI takes over too much, will I still be in charge? Or I don't want to rely on something that I don't fully understand. Here's the reality. AI does not replace your decision making. It enhances it. The best businesses are going to use AI as an assistant, not a replacement for you. And you can stay in control by choosing how, when, and where you can use it. So today we're going to explore practical tools that will actually put you in the driver's seat. And by the end of the session, you'll see exactly how AI can actually work for you and not the other way around. That's really important. Now, two more, and then we're going to pop into some demo work. I don't have time. Who here, let me know in the chat, do you have time to learn more stuff about AI tools? So this is one that we of course see all the time. And again, we're all in the same space. Somebody says, okay, Patricia says, yeah, I'm totally stretched. What we need to be reminded of is that everybody's in the same phase together. And you know what? There's going to be some reshuffling that needs to happen. And as we go through our businesses and we are having to rejig how we go through things, we are going to have no choice but to find and be able to reprioritize time to learn. That's the hard truth. You either make time to learn AI or maybe you delegate it to someone who will. Now, I do see if you're, again, in the leadership role or if you're the business owner, oh, that's fine. I'll just send it all over to a teammate, somebody else that can help me do it all. There is an issue with that because if you don't understand AI's potential, you won't know how to use it effectively. And when you start to understand the possibilities, it's like fireworks that go off. So it's not just about efficiency, but it is about staying ahead. So it really is something that everybody's having to upskill together, okay? And last but not least, I don't say this last because it's a very important one. I know it's a serious subject for everybody right across Canada right now. What about AI security and data privacy? And what you might be really thinking is, if AI is processing my business data, is it secure? What if AI makes decisions based on bad or biased decisions? Can I trust AI tools with sensitive customer information? We're understandably concerned. I get data security in AI, but let's take a step back and consider this full picture because AI security depends on how you use it. And I'm going to talk from your standpoint first. It's just like other digital tools. I know it's a different type of tool, but we often worry about AI privacy, but we don't think twice about how much data we already shared with platforms like Google, Apple, social media. Now, again, I know it's a little bit of a different piece, but the key isn't fearing AI, but it's to really understand the risks and make informed decisions and use AI responsibly. You can choose AI tools with strong security policies. So you can get paying versions. Paying versions generally have more privacy. You can avoid sharing sensitive information. You can double check AI's responses because AI is not always perfect. And you can follow privacy regulations. So those are some of the things at a high level you could do. But if you're going, well, Melissa, yeah, that's great, but what about all these companies? I get it, absolutely. But not all AI providers handle data the same way. So businesses can really start to be in more control when maybe you're using AI tools with clear privacy policies. That's one of my non-negotiables when I'm looking at tools. And also, if it's really private information, I saw somebody saying about healthcare, considering self-hosted AI. There's other options, or setting internal policies. Maybe it's just you and a small team. Absolutely have parameters on what data employees can enter into the AI tools. So I hope that this kind of gives you a little bit of a sense of, some of the narratives or mindsets that oftentimes we will go through. And I want to say that all of the examples I highlighted, it taps into one specific emotion, which is fear. Now, fear of the unknown, fear of change, and that's completely normal. Humans crave comfort and predictability. That's why it's so difficult right now. And if you can acknowledge, that's really important. But what I want to share today is fear will silently shape our mindsets even when we do not realize it. And oftentimes we don't even think about it. And when I bring this up to business owners or people within the business world, they're like, oh my goodness, what kind of mindset do I have about AI adoption? And they start to realize that no matter where you're at on your journey, when you're just starting or you're fully integrating AI into your business, your mindset is going to determine your success. and it's not fixed. It can shift daily. And so as I go through the next part, I want you to just take a moment to see which ones are familiar to you. So I'm going to start with the fixed mindset. If I don't get something right away, I probably never will. Or I get frustrated easily when things don't click, so I move on. Or I tend to stick to what I know because new things feel overwhelming. Or maybe if I fail at something, it just proves I'm not good at it. Or I'm just not a tech person. Some things are out of my reach. So this is a fixed mindset mentality. So as you go through it, let me know in the comment, in the chat, if any of these thoughts you've had in the past. Again, there's no judgment, just awareness. We want to be really mindful of how we're showing up when we're upskilling or we're learning new AI tools, or how we're actually thinking about it. Now, the next one is growth mindset. And again, everybody's, oh, I'm usually here, and that's fantastic. You do have to have a growth mindset when you're thinking about AI adopting and learning. I might not get it right away, but I can learn anything with time and effort. That's like one that will obviously help you get ahead in terms of growth mindset. Or frustration means I'm learning. If I keep going, I'll improve. And again, any of these ones, just write it on a Post-it note, because sometimes we need to remind our brains that we need to have this type of mindset. The next one is challenges aren't roadblocks or opportunities to grow. Absolutely. Failure isn't the end. It's feedback that helps me get better. If you are in AI space, failure is everything. And I know it's so difficult because we don't have time and we don't have the bandwidth, but we constantly are using these tools in ways, and we may have tiny little failures, but they're really important for that next step. And my progress is shaped by my attitude, effort, and willingness to adapt. So hopefully you can see the difference between a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. Now, how do we start to shift this? If you're like, gosh, I'm just having a crappy day, I don't know where I'm supposed to start with all this AI stuff. Try to reframe that mindset to, where's the best place to start with AI in my business? That automatically allows your body and your emotions to feel more curiosity. And if you're like, geez, Melissa, this is going in more deep than I would ever imagine, these are really important, because this is going to give you longevity over the next little while, and especially in the upcoming years when there's so many changes. Now, instead of saying maybe AI is too complicated, when you get stuck and you don't know how to use a part of the tool, AI is a tool, and I can start with just one simple step. Or instead of AI will replace my business, AI can help me work smarter and do more of what I'm best at. If you're like, oh my gosh, Melissa, yes, this is great, but I'm so totally like, I'm overwhelmed. I am actually giving, and we will be sending you a Write AI tools for your business. So it highlights all these tools and it breaks it down in categories, so you don't have to think about it. So don't worry about remembering everything today, except for where's my mindset, and what's that first step? What's that first pain point? What's that first thing I'm going to start with today and try? So everyone in the chat, let me know what you are going to try, what tool, or what's one thing that you're going to be curious about. I think it's important that we actually go in and say what we're going to do. I'm going to get as well, let me know how this session was for you. I know we covered a lot of content. I'm hoping that Majabine or Zineb will put a little session kind of input in the chat so that you can fill it out. I'm going to also answer some of these questions, so don't worry. Okay, I see Opus Clip. That's fantastic. Opus Clip. You can use Opus Clip. Amazing. I want to try the video editing one as soon as possible. Fantastic. Absolutely. Most of these tools are all free. Opus Clip was free to try your first one. So you can go in there and again, try it out. There is a subscription on Opus Clip, and all the other ones have a subscription too. I do want to really let you know, I don't ever do an annual subscription on all these. I only do month by month. And the reason is, it's always evolving, it's always changing. You don't want to have to feel committed. But if you know you do tons of videos and reels, you might want to consider a subscription specifically to, say, Opus Clip. Or maybe if like large language models and chatbots and using it really effectively, $20 a month can get you a lot of things. But again, you can use absolutely the tools for free just to test them out. So I'm going to go in. I know that there's a form. Fantastic. I'm reading advert for my travel business. Fantastic. Everyone just take one step. Okay. Again, there was a lot here today, but there's some fun, amazing tools. If you say 15 minutes, I'm going to put it in my calendar. I'm going to go test a tool that Melissa said, and you're going to get that worksheet, that PDF, which will basically help break some things down for you. And now I'm going to actually open everything up because I see some hands raised. I want to say thank you, everyone. You're fantastic for being here. Let's open it up and have questions.
Do you want to start, Melissa, with a question?
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah,
Do you want me to
my
all just go in the
concern-
chat?
Yeah, we had it in the Q&A. My concern is this: most of our AI tools, data, servers, etc., are either located in USA and EU or China, entering this kind of a new war called trade or financial war. I would like a comment of how can we mitigate these problems by moving all these elements here in Canada. Thank you, Melissa.
Ooh, that is a wonderful question, and thank you for bringing it up. It just was on my radar this morning. We were talking about how can I highlight any AI tools that are Canadian? That is coming down the pipeline. I've got to figure out how to be able to do that. How can we move that over to Canada? That's a great question, and I don't actually have a fully in-depth answer to that right now. I have to be honest, because when we have companies that are situated in other locations and they come from that space, I don't know how we're going to start to evolve that. Maybe that's within our own borders. We will start to evolve new technology, new models. I know models are changing all the time. So that might be one way of being able to keep everything on this side. But I do know not using these models, despite if they're in other places, and you do have to choose what works for you and your values and your morals. But there is implications. And what I mean by that is, I'll give an example of just say OpenAI that owns ChatGPT. We are trying to mitigate bias. If everybody decides to, again, that Canadian voice decides to not participate, fair enough, if we're not using any of the AI models, then we wouldn't have to worry about it. But we need to make sure that all the voices are going in so that there is a well-rounded answer as well. It's learning from many people, not just a core group. So this is a bigger question, and I'd love to be able to take this offline, and I appreciate you asking it. I'm wondering if we can move on to the next question as well.
Said, I am a video producer. Do you know of any AI tools that can do longer form video editing? For example, if I were to upload interviews and ask AI to construct a story using these video interviews.
So one way you might want to look in, it's called Descript, and it's fantastic for editing. It's for quality of editing, meaning like taking out the filler words, but also being able to prompt it. So you may be able to upload those videos and ask it to see if it can pair a narrative. That's a great exploration, is to see if it can actually handle that. I don't have one. That would be my best tool that I would say to try that one with. Thank you for asking that question, by the way. The app I just said was Descript. Very easy to use. It's doing a lot of things. They've added new features actually in the last couple of weeks as well. How can we connect to you? One way of connecting with me is on LinkedIn. So if you connect with Melissa Lloyd, agilityhub.ai is where you can go with regards to our website. And you can certainly reach out to me if you've got any questions at all. I'm going to just put this in the chat as well to continue this conversation. agilityhub.com, melissa@agilityhub.com. Feel free to email me, but do connect with me on LinkedIn because I'm pretty active on there and I'm always sharing things as well. I'm just going to go back into the Q&A here. I hope that everybody, it's been helpful for you. What AI tool to use to create content or as a virtual assistant? Honestly, ChatGPT is fantastic. And you know what just happened, and you'll be all experiencing this soon, is that they just released a new model. I'm not trying to get technical here. What it means is sometimes ChatGPT sounded like a chatbot. You really had to work with it. Now it got an upgrade. It's got, what they're saying is it's Claude, which is, Claude is a different model and it's very kind of human-like and very how we would speak. So I'm really excited because ChatGPT is going to be able to help with tons. I mean, it already does with tons of content. It's definitely saving me 20 plus hours a week on all my content. And it can also be a virtual assistant. Like I mentioned, GPTs, you can create your own. And honestly, you can create them in 20 minutes. I can show you how to create one in 20 minutes, and then it's all about refinement. It is not impossible. If you're like, Melissa, you've been in this a long time, it's actually something that I know I can 100% promise you that you can do it. 100%, not even a question. Let me just see, is there any other questions?
So you touched on it and I noted your strategies, but is there one specific AI tool you would recommend in terms of safety for charting or report writing?
So the only way that you can it could be more safe is that you have, if it's a company and it has, you create your own model. That's one way, just so you know, because I have dealt with healthcare and data privacy. The other way is getting the enterprise version where there's no training done on any of your content. And so again, it depends on what type of information, and also being mindful of ultimately, again, the safest way is to build your own, have a small large language model on your machine or within your server. That's the safest way. But it just depends on what type of healthcare, what type of content that you're sharing. But I would recommend looking into the enterprise version for ChatGPT.
Is there any AI tool to transform a video into a PDF file containing the transcript?
Okay, not a PDF as such, but if you put it into Descript, as I mentioned earlier, if you upload that link or your video, it will transcribe the whole thing for you. If I had enough time today, we could be here all day and it would be amazing. You can use Descript to do that. You just copy and paste it. And even better, you can get Descript to edit out all the, like I said, the blunders, like the ums, the ahs, the filler words, and then you can copy and paste once it's edited for you.
Is there a tool you can recommend to me where I can learn graphic design for free?
Yeah. So I would say that's my background, communication design. So I put it to the test. You can use ideogram if we did it for a picture today, but you can actually go in and say, can you create me icons or logos based on whatever your product is, and provide a palette. And actually ideogram can get you started with some ideas, right? But if you're looking more for that graphic design layout and something that's really easy, Canva is fantastic. And their AI features, wish I had time today to show you, are fantastic for learning as a beginner, and it just making life easier in general. So Canva is definitely where I would go, or ideogram, just to get you to start thinking in different ways. I hope that was helpful. There's no one perfect tool though. This is the one thing I have to say. Everybody's also, if there's one tool, can we not just have this all under one umbrella? No, each tool does its own thing, which I know sometimes is, again, that's why I say start with one, and then you build that, okay, I use this particular tool for this, and then you build your tech stack as you go up. If I'm not wrong, ChatGPT OpenAI changed the ability to go private and protect your data with pro version of ChatGPT. Not with the enterprise version. Thank you so much. My pleasure. Anybody, reach out to me. I'm happy to answer any questions. If I don't have the answer, I will find an answer for you. Remember that mindset. One step at a time, and get excited about where AI technology can help you. All right, we've got it on board. Fantastic. So let's put it in action. I want to talk about something that AI note takers, some people are using, some people have no clue what they are. What I want to kind of share is AI note takers have saved an incredible amount of time on, say, my side. So if meetings are a big part of your business, but keeping track of every detail, following up and updating your CRM is too much time. That's why AI meeting note takers are fantastic, because it handles it all for me. If you're using an AI meeting assistant now, let me know in the chat. It's really important. I'd love to hear which one you're using. And if you're not familiar with this AI note taker, it's basically a tool that joins your video calls. And you might have seen it in Zoom, where you have an option to record the audio. And then what it would do is it would transcribe into text, and then it would send transcripts to you, and if you want the participants. So Roxanne says she's in Google Meet. Fantastic. The meeting notes, so when you're inside of that meeting, it's taking the notes for you, and what it's able to do is, again, no more manual note taking, which is handy. It has instant follow-up, so as I mentioned, it would generate follow-up emails after calls. It would also connect to your CRM if you wanted to, where you can sync key points to your system. So maybe it's something like your note taker has said there's like a task that you needs to do. it would link it with your CRM and say, you have to do this task. And so it would actually put in something in your schedule, which is amazing. Customer sentiment analysis. People are like, what is customer sentiment analysis? It's able to actually go through and follow up on understanding clients' concerns and opportunities based on the language they're using. Now, again, I think it's amazing. And Patricia says it saves her incredible amount of time and brain cells. I absolutely agree. If you are going into this, and I just want to show you, because I'm not going to demo mine because I've got privacy information, but this is the kind of thing that you would see in Fireflies, where you'd see the transcript on the right side, exactly as we go through. You would see the quick meeting recap. You'd have little sound bites to go in. And then you could search on the left-hand side where, okay, we've had 60% positive sentiment. So this is somewhere where I can learn as a person, okay, what's resonating, what's not resonating with my particular customers. So that's really high level, but I do want to say that there's things to consider when you're using note takers. There's client privilege concerns. And I say this because sometimes you have really confidential information, so you have to make a decision when you're going to use it, and is it appropriate to use, or maybe data security implications. And so sometimes, again, they're recording your transcripts and they're saving it. So you do want to question, okay, where's the data going? And some of these free tools, and again, all of the ones I'm going to show you, they're all free, but again, your data may be used to improve their models. So you just want to pay attention to that. And then accuracy of the transcripts. Some of the AI note takers are not super accurate. They're not perfect. And we know that they're not perfect anyhow. So I always want to do a quick review before relying on my AI generated notes. Now, one thing is I saw in the chat, which AI note taker, which based on security, I actually highlight two, which is Fathom and Fireflies. And again, I know that there's Otter and there's Read.ai, but why I choose those two specifically is because they're secure tools that are basically using certain types of security measures that I'm comfortable with. They're the most secure ones that are on the market at the moment. And again, you can dig into that, but it's something worth considering. So let's move forward. Hopefully you've gone in and said, okay, maybe I'll try an AI note taker for future. I want to go into AI writing. Now, AI writing, again, we've got 20 minutes and I want to do some demos. So I'm going to try to be really quick. But AI writing is everywhere. We know, actually, if you're somebody that's using a chatbot right now, let me know in Menti, what's one way AI has made your work easier, more efficient. Let me know if you're using any chatbots. This might be like, say, ChatGPT. It might be Claude. Anybody have any responses here? What are you using? What's made your work easier? Anybody? ChatGPT, Copilot, what's it helping you with? Is it helping you write emails? Is it proposal writing? I see some in the chat. Anybody else want to add? Jasper for content, creates an amazing base to work from and refine. Brainstorming, absolutely. Multiple tools, because since there are pros and cons to all of them, you're 100% correct. There is. So I'm going to keep moving through. You can keep doing it in the chat. I see that there's more strategy and things like this. You can use different generative AI chatbots. We don't have time here to dive in really to the detail of this today, but I don't want the number of models to overwhelm you, because yes, they are evolving weekly, but the more that you get comfortable, the more that you're going to find yourself maybe using 2 or 3 that best fit your needs. And for today's purpose, I'm going to use ChatGPT. To me, it's like the Swiss Army knife of chatbots specifically. And I want to go in and share basically a little tiny demo with you today. So let me have just a moment here where I'm going to switch over to ChatGPT. Hopefully everybody can see it. Can everybody see it? All right. Of course, there's things where you can go in and you can write, and for some reason, I'm going to have this issue here. Just one moment, everybody. I want to see what's going on here on my side. You can go in and you can essentially ask it any question, and people are using it in so many different ways. We've just heard some of the ways, which is amazing. What I want to try to highlight today is I'll give a very basic scenario, and then I'm going to go into something that maybe you haven't considered using ChatGPT for, or maybe you have, I don't know, but let me go in and I'm going to copy and paste prompts because it just honestly is quicker and easier for me to be able to go through this. So I'm going to copy and paste and put on the screen. This is where I'd ask my question, act as a social media expert, and write 5 engaging posts for Facebook and LinkedIn. So I'm giving a whole bunch of information about, and again, it's social media posts because everybody always wants social media posts, but I'm giving a whole bunch of information on purpose because the more context that you give, the better quality the content is going to come out, basically what we're going to be given. So I'm going to just press go here and we'll just see what it comes up with. Again, what I love about this is it comes up with all the ideas, especially when you're stuck for time and you're like, what am I going to put for my particular social media, my post today? This is actually GreenSip. It's a fictitious company, a coffee company. And again, I know there's something definitely going on because usually ChatGPT is a lot quicker, just so you know. So it will give me all my different ideas and I can work from there, which is fantastic. You can also, again, I mentioned before, it's an iterative process. So I'm not just going to stop and say, that's it. I'm going to go in and when it's finished, and it's probably going to give me, I asked for it for 5, you can keep on chatting. Like maybe you don't use emojicons. Can you please remove emojis? Can you make it sound more like this? Because maybe you've got content that you, or style that you really like, and you can go in and you can really get this chat to be more tailored to yourself. So it is still trying to go through. You can use this for absolutely anything. So just if it's content, great. One thing I find, and I'm going to go over here on the sidebar here, is on the left-hand side, you're going to see Explore GPTs. This is one of the most underused areas. Now, I have to say, I use ChatGPT for everything, and I use other large language models, but most people are using chatbots for quick answers. But I'll tell you what, when you get into a custom GPT, and what this means is it's a dedicated, specialized assistant for your specific needs. So instead of you repeating instructions, because when you're here, when you're outside, if you're in your chat, you're actually having to repeat things as you go through, just so you know that it keeps its consistency. It doesn't, it's like it's a long page that's ever evolving, but you have to give it prompts and reminders. So what I would love for you to know that in here, you can create your own GPTs. And if I created one as an example, it's Sip Social Sally, a friendly AI assistant that helps with social media while keeping things fresh and engaging. I can use this and it's customized to my exact needs. So it might be down to every little detail that I want about my company, how I write, how I do everything. And it means that it doesn't forget anything. So it's brilliant to be knowing how you can use it as that personal assistant. I use them for everything. I use them for even down to Mel, the meeting pro prep assistant, in terms of helping me kind of question and kind of things to consider before meetings. So it's helping me do things really quickly. So I just wanted to say that most people are not realizing if you go to Explore GPTs, and you go My GPTs, you can create your own. And if you need help with that, connect with me later, okay? Now, I want to go back to actually the chat, because what I want to highlight as well is that a lot of things that people don't realize what you can do is you can use it as a way to navigate difficult conversations. You can do literally anything with it, but if I put in a prompt like I need to have a difficult conversation with a client about raising my prices, can you play the role of my client and push back on the price increase? Basically, I can have a conversation back and forth with ChatGPT. I can get feedback of how it can improve my argument, what can make my case stronger. Like again, I would go back and forth. And what I love about this is if I started to have that conversation, I would then realize that I can help anticipate objections or refine my responses. It can help me boost my confidence, which I've always felt because I'm practicing in a safe space. And it will definitely save time by giving you structured feedback instantly. So I basically would go through and have a conversation. Now, I want to go into something else. So you can do tons within ChatGPT, and it's really easy and intuitive to use, especially once you get the sense of how kind of these large language models work. which is know how to ask your question and you'll get a response back, or maybe you'll get a picture back. I know a lot of people are always looking for visuals. Maybe it's a huge part of business. So whether it's a presentation, whether it's for social media or marketing, really, this is where ideogram, which I absolutely love, and sorry about that lovely picture, it always changes. So you never know what you're going to get, I have to say. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you an example. If I wrote a prompt, you would, similar to ChatGPT, it says, describe what you want to see. I want to see a warm, rustic bakery sign featuring golden, flaky croissants stacked fresh from the oven next to a steaming cup of coffee. Now, you didn't even have to be that descriptive, because what I'm going to show you is you can choose whatever size you want it. I'm going to do this for an Instagram post. Again, you can use it for proposals, anything in any way. And at the bottom, you're going to start to see here, it's 32% complete. So you give it just a moment and it's starting to take all of those words, those keywords, and create the picture that you're looking to create. Because sometimes, you know what, going through picture libraries takes a long time. Sometimes I just want to go right to a place where I know, oh my gosh, I've got some imagery here. And it will always give you, say, 4 different images, which I love. And you can ask it in certain styles. Now, on the right-hand side, this is the prompt that you put in. And then there's always a magic prompt that usually is longer. It's a bit more descriptive. So I'm just going to go in here and I want to edit this. A warm, rustic bakery hanging sign. Let's see if it's a hanging sign with the text, handwritten text, because I like it more authentic. And let's just see what it generates. And then we can move through here, because I know that we've got 10 minutes to spare and people are probably going to want to ask questions. So as you can see, it's starting to go through its completion. And what it's going to do is it's going to essentially go in and give you updated pictures with the edits that you've requested. So here we go. We've got 97% complete. There we go. They're hanging signs. Okay. In a font that you like. Fantastic. So you can go in and literally just download this. I'm going to move in. I'm going to try to give myself 3 minutes to get through the next part. Perplexity. Has anybody heard of Perplexity? Let me know. Perplexity is the most wonderful tool. We know how time-consuming research can be, right? You're scrolling through Google. Perplexity basically is completely changed. I don't use Google anymore unless I'm going to Google Maps or like an actual business location. So there's advantages there. But basically it delivers fast, sourced, and accurate answers without information overload. So you can go in and you can literally ask it anything very similar to all these other ones where we're going, okay, we want some research. As businesses, we know we have to dig into, say, what are top marketing strategies for small businesses in 2025? Provide sources. So you would go and do something similar to ChatGPT, and also just being able to key in your question like ideogram, and now it's giving you all these different pieces and the sourcing, which is very valuable. Now, what people don't realize with this, so it can do all your research in literally seconds and have the resources. But if I was to create a new question, and what I love is that it is fantastic with deep research. And what I mean by that is that it goes in, it's in-depth reporting. So if you're really trying to get into something that's really detailed, I just want to show you that I actually asked it to conduct a comprehensive analysis on basically barriers that prevent small businesses from purchasing or adopting AI tools. Now, it takes a few minutes because it's going through 50 to 80 sources. It's actually collating everything, and then it comes up with a report. Okay, so what's amazing about this is I end up with this whole report that, again, think about how we start things and how much time we're going to sift through Google and try to click on every single one. Perplexity will do this all for you. Okay, and ideogram and Perplexity are free, just so you know. If you want to do deep research, you only get a certain amount of deep research ones. But yeah, like all of these you can use to try out for free, and you can get a good amount of stuff. If you want to go to the next level, usually they're like $8 to $20, and then they would give you obviously more bandwidth. I'm going to stop actually here. I'm going to do one more. It's 12:51. I can make it happen. People that are like, because we know video is like huge. We know we need to use video all the time. If you've done podcasts, if you've got longer kind of form content, I honestly don't have time to be doing reels, and that reels is everything. Everybody wants to see reels, even on LinkedIn, it's reels. So you can go in and you can drop in a clip. So you can just take a Zoom link, or sorry, a link from wherever your video is hosted, or you can upload it on the upload button, and you can just go click get clips in one click. And it will take a couple minutes, but I want to show you an example. I uploaded this and it took me 2 minutes, and then it gave me all my clips that I can actually use and download from a long form piece of content. So here's all my reels. Better yet, it is actually giving me scores. So it's actually saying it's 99. This particular clip is really good. It's got a great hook. It's got good flow, value trend. It's doing really well. So this is probably the one that I would lead by. So if you're looking for videos, then honestly, Opus Clip is awesome. And if you're just like, oh gosh, Melissa, there's so many things here, you just zoomed right through. I wanted to show you that there's wonderful tools out there to help you evolve and move your business forward. And especially if you're just getting started, or if you're somebody that have been using it for a while, but you're like, maybe you haven't dug in really deeper to it. I think it's really important to be able to go in and actually really see what's possible with these tools.